We're Zach and Annie, a Scotsman and an American.
6 months ago, we made a huge decision, leaving everything behind in California in order to follow a new dream of raising our kids in Scotland.
Hello everyone, welcome back. So today, hopefully should be a fun one. We are having my American wife, Annie, listen to some of the accents from around Britain and the UK to see if she truly has immersed herself and she can understand the variety of accents we have in this little country.
I feel like I'm getting much better. 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I came over the first time to visit Zach, there were things that I couldn't understand. Some people, it felt like a foreign language. And since then, I've eased my way in. I feel like I have a good grasp on most of the accents, but I don't know, I guess we'll find out.
And people always comment on my weird car crash of an accent I've heard. So we'll see how I sound compared to some of these, and we'll see how Annie does. We're gonna do a sort of scoring out of 5.
Yeah.
So 1 out of 5, super easy. Annie understands everything they say. 5 out of 5, was that even English, I guess?
Yeah, this sounds like a foreign language.
Yeah.
So we know that there are some of you that still don't believe that Zach is Scottish with his dodgy accent and American teeth. So this video sponsor is for you.
We have both been thinking about looking more into our backgrounds, and so we're excited for this video to be partnering with MyHeritage, the leading global service for family research and DNA testing.
Trusted by 90 million users, MyHeritage's easy-to-use platform makes learning about your family history not only a breeze, but fun as well.
You can see here just how easy this process is. And using the instant discovery feature will even allow you to add a package of family history information to your family tree with just one click. And with that click of a button, I was able to add a whole list of relatives to my dad's side, names I've heard of before, but all of a sudden they started coming to life. MyHeritage has access to a database of 28 billion historical documents, so even those searching with little information have a great chance at making meaningful discoveries.
Making things even better is the ability to use the advanced AI technologies to repair, enhance, colorize, and even animate your old family photos.
I was amazed to find newspaper articles dating from 1964 regarding my great-grandfather's involvement in politics, and found out that he not only was an ex-boxer, but also a locomotive driver.
And I love seeing that people are going to be able to remember my amazing grandmother as an essential figure assembling planes as a World War II Rosie. So if you're interested in learning more about your family, you can sign up for a 14-day free trial using the link in the description or scan the QR code here.
So, little quick backstory. Burns Night is right around the corner, January 25th, where we celebrate the life and legacy of Robbie Burns. And with that, our eldest child has to learn a poem by a Scottish poet. Not actually Robert Burns, but another Scottish poet. And we're gonna start off the day or the video with that poem read in a Scots tongue. So this should be an easy one for you.
I feel, yeah, Scottish accent, I understand most Scottish accents. So Zach has not let me listen to the poems our son was able to choose from.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I'm wondering if it might be harder than normal because he's laughing already. But yeah, let's find out.
This one is Street Talk by J.K. Anand, I think is how you say the name. So without further ado, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ears open?
Ears open.
All right, here we go.
There was a rammy in the street, a stushy in Stramash. The crabbit wifey up the stair put up her windy sash. "Noo, what's a day?" the wifey cried. "Just tell me, what's a day?" "A day is 24 hours, missus. Noo gie us peace to play." "Just tell me what's a do," she cried. "And none of your gab," cried she. "Do you no ken a do's a pigeon, missus? Noo haud your weest a wee." "I want to ken what's up," she cried, "and maybe roll your cheek, you loon." "It's only your windy that's up, missus. For God's sake, put it down."
Easy, right?
Right. 5. Right off the bat, 5. That was so hard.
Annie also says she often finds it easier to hear women talk, just because of the tones they use, I guess.
Yes.
So I thought I'd start with an easy one, but how was that?
No.
5?
5. That was very hard. I think she talks quickly. She has a lot of intonation and And the vocabulary, I don't understand. That's the tricky part.
There's some definite Scots dialect in there, like what's a do?
I've never heard these words.
Like
so
do is a it comes from like dove, but it can be used in Scots to mean like a pigeon or a type of bird. It's like what's a do? What's a do? What is a doe? What's a bird? And then yeah, it's a funny little poem.
Like when she, I feel she just says a G on the end of words. I don't understand. I failed this one. Oh wow, that was tough.
Yeah, so that one I had to listen closely. I was able to translate most of it into words that you would normally use. But yeah, I had to concentrate a little bit on that one. That was a tricky start, but...
So for you, being Scottish, this isn't the accent you heard growing up?
Somewhere, sometimes, but not most of the time. This is very, very strong, even to my ear.
Because in Edinburgh, people say they have the most almost English-washed accent out of all of Scotland. Would you agree with that?
It's definitely like a softer than like a Glaswegian, which is very strong.
Right. So
to my ear.
This does not sound like where we are located.
Yes.
I don't typically hear people speaking like this.
And this lady is performing it in as rich a Scottish accent as she can, I think. So that'll add it. So interesting you say a 5 based on what else I might have coming up. All right, on to the next one.
That was so hard.
Okay, so that first one was a bit of a joke because I said it would be easy for Annie. This next one is fairly local to where we are. It's from the Scottish borders.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see how that one goes. This one I have more faith you'll be more comfortable with, okay?
Let's hear it.
Here we go.
Kevin Patterson, and I'm a guide on the River Tweed. We're standing here down in the borders. We're just outside Melrose, which is a famous town. Over the back of us here, we've got the Eildons, one of the most famous landmarks on the borders. It's 3 hills, and the myth is that Merlin, the magician, split one hill into 3 and left the 2 hills at the back of us, which you can see. The weather's never good. They always say in the borders, if the mist's on the Eildons, we never get the good weather. And as you can see today, there's no sunshine. It's a typical Scottish borders day. Fantastic.
I understood most of that.
Okay.
There were
like
a few...
1, very easy, or a 2, or out of 5?
2.
Okay.
I would say there were a few, when he was talking about the weather, a few words slipped in and out that I didn't hear 100%.
He names the hills as well, which might
so maybe the names, yeah.
Yeah.
But I understood he was talking about being from the borders, the type of weather they're getting. It's more a memory than not being able to understand what he said.
Like she can't remember the video from 20 seconds ago.
I remember that video. I'm so sleep deprived these days.
It's I like the borders accent. It's a nice sort of rolling, comfortable Scottish accent to me, and
it feels friendly.
Yeah, the Melrose area he's talking about is famous for rugby. They invented a version of rugby called Rugby Sevens, where only 7 people play on each team. A little laugh.
Do you prefer rugby sevens, or do you prefer traditional rugby?
It's like choosing between your children. I don't know. That's a hard one. They're both very different, but lots of fun.
Played same season or different seasons?
Rugby sevens is typically more towards like the summer end of things. So yeah. But anyway, so 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5?
I would say 2, because there are accents that I find easier.
All right, on to the next one. So for this next one, we're still in Scotland and we're visiting our neighbours to the west. This clip had me laughing because it's almost, I can see myself in this position when I moved to America with people asking me to repeat things. So without further ado, let's go ahead with this one.
Honourable gentleman, what work is being done to make sure that this place is more accessible, particularly for some of our colleagues who have a disability?
Here, here.
I'm sorry, it must be something to do with my Antipodean background. Could you please repeat the question, because I didn't follow it?
Well, very popular today. I was saying that a number of parliamentary colleagues who have disabilities do find it quite difficult getting around certain parts of the state. Given that we're doing this refurbishment work, what can be done to make sure that those with a disability are able to move around more freely and the place is accessible?
I'm really sorry. Please, could you do it very slowly in Antipodean English? Thank you.
Okay,
That's
so
amazing.
He goes again. The guy still doesn't understand him to the point that someone intervenes like, maybe we can just have a written response. So, did you understand that? What's your score? And can you give a brief overview of what he was saying?
Sure. I score that 2. I found
Okay.
it pretty easy. I hear accents like this a lot, actually. And I think what makes it tricky is he speaks quickly and he almost adds an additional syllable in certain words. Like accessible feels like there's another word or syllable. And so for me, pretty easy. And he was talking about making sure spaces are accessible for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
I felt like I could understand that, but I can see why others would have such a hard time. My friends came over from, we all sort of grew up in Georgia together, and they came over to Edinburgh just a couple months ago. And it was funny because I guess I didn't realize that I'm starting to understand accents better until they came over, and they were like, what? I'm sorry, I just do not understand
You were the local translator for them.
I was a translator, and I think it's funny that I understood him clearly even more so than the Englishman did. So I feel I'm becoming one. No, I'm not yet.
All right, so another 2 out of 5. Yeah, you're gonna hear the Glaswegian accent a lot. Very friendly, very happy people typically, and they do talk fast, and it's like a jovial kind of up and down.
I enjoy it. I like it. But I do have to say that accent's tricky for me to understand with a lot of background noise. That was a very clear situation. There wasn't a lot going on in the background.
All right, before you get too comfortable, we're gonna head, still in Scotland, but way up north to some of the little islands.
Born and bred in Shetland, and then most of my life, my childhood was spent in Was, on the west side of Shetland. Group of islands at the very north end of Scotland. Quite isolated from the mainland, really. Was is called walls, but it really means inlets of the sea, and it's one of these things that the army making the maps got confused with, and they put down the word walls. So when you say I come for walls, you feel as if it's sticking in your mouth because you come for Was. Anyway, that had a fundamental effect on me, being brought up in a pretty crafting fishing community.
She's a slow speaker, so I can understand her. The only thing I still don't know, and she said it like 10 times, is was, walls. I don't know what that word is supposed to be, what that city is.
So they named it walls because that's like the English word, but the people who live there say was. So she was saying it's literally hard for her to say walls because that's not how her like mouth and stuff moves.
Right.
And then did you hear like pity?
I missed that.
Okay, so she lived in a pity crofting community or something that means little.
Oh, okay.
So-
I just assumed that was the name of the area.
Oh no. So yeah, you can probably get most of what she's saying from context, but if you're asked about the details, you probably missed some of them.
Yes, obviously.
Like instead of mouse, you said mooth
I've
and stuff
heard
like that.
I've heard those kind of deviations or variations, I should say, in
So
our
that's
area,
actually, I think they call it Shetlandic, like language.
because she was speaking slower, I still think I understood probably, I'd give her a 2. But if this was a man speaking and quickly in Shetlands, I think it would probably be like a 4.
With any sort of background noise, or
Yeah,
if the kids are screaming and
so much, because I am having to listen. I understand her, but she did pronounce words, and I was familiar with some of the things like mooth.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
On to the next one then. Okay, so this next one, I think this is probably going to be the last one from Scotland. So we are still in Scotland, but I'm going to let Annie see if she can find out where from.
Oh, this
Okay.
will be hard. No, I don't like that. I'll give it a go, though.
All right, here we go.
Fáilte smise Jan Tarmat Macóil sanas cannot yes na herre hami ilan is to be near na halappe near hoe na halappe hami wie was na hoe na Glasgow as jan shach blian is ach goed mi shachat goed vorige me we ke die soos ke you as na herre hami gans
That's
All right, let's hear it. What
word.
What was he talking about?
only word I understood was Glasgow. That is not English. There's no way that's
To make
English.
you feel better, that was also the only word I understood.
Thank God, because if you knew what he was saying, I would die.
So he was speaking Scottish Gaelic, which is its own language, and actually, once you're, like recently when we're driving up towards the Highlands, and once you get to the sort of Perth area, they'll have both languages on the road signs. So they'll have the English word, and then they'll have the Scottish Gaelic version of the word. So yes, 5 out of 5?
5, yes.
5. Same.
Question about Gaelic. Do you learn that ever at all in school?
I did not, no. There's Gaelic TV channels, so you can get like the weather and the news in Gaelic, and it's kind of like that. There'll be saying words, and then all of a sudden they'll use a word you recognize, like da 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 washing machine, or da 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 stormy weather, and it's kind of funny. But no, I've never learned any, sadly, apart from the little like cheers and stuff like that.
Maybe one day. I hear they're trying to bring it back.
Okay,
We'll see.
So I mean, some people, some small minority, that's what they speak like all the time. Okay, so leaving Scotland behind, we're going to head to our neighbours to the south, and this is actually one of my favourite English accents, and they're very close neighbours to the south. So we'll see if you understand it, if you like it, and if you can remember where it's from. Okay, here we go.
See the pics, and were they did you look good in the bikini, or was it?
I'm going to say no. And I got put with a colouring in book, which is even worse. Now nobody's going to want us ever.
Caught with a what again?
A colouring in book.
Well, I'm sure. What is she saying?
A colouring book.
A colouring book? Why would you get...
Jade has got better, because when I first met Jade, I'm not joking, I did think she was foreign. I did, but she's a lot better now.
Some words that you say, like, weird.
Can it wait, as Jade would say? Can he wait?
And, like, film. Like, Christmas films, or... Like, they have their own, like, it's
They
crazy.
call Ian, like someone called Ian, they call Ian.
Ian. And we're like, no, it's 2 syllables. Ian. We're saying 2 syllables. Ian. No.
So that's so funny because Jade thinks she's speaking perfectly, and everyone around her is like, no, you're not saying these words right. So how easy was she to understand out of 5?
Oh, that was hard. I would say she was probably 4.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
She did talk fast, and okay.
She was very quickly spoken.
Yes.
And that does not help me.
Any idea where she's from?
I'm gonna take a guess.
Okay.
Because my brother is sort of in this area, and he sort of mimics this accent sometimes when he's telling me about conversations he's had with people.
Okay.
Is it Newcastle?
It is Newcastle. Well done.
Yes.
The Geordie accent. Yeah, I love it. I was trying to find clips from a 90s kids TV show called Biker Grove, which is set in Newcastle, but the sound wasn't very good. And if anyone knows that show, knows Ant and Dec, they're TV presenters now. They were like some of the main characters. Lots of kids grew up on that show. Anyway, yeah, I like the accent. And yeah, so.
I like the accent. It would be hard for me to live there because it would take so much effort for me to understand it if everyone spoke like that. I don't know if hers is particularly strong for the area as well, but...
I think, yeah, there's probably slightly stronger ones and less strong ones, but hers is pretty indicative of like a Geordie accent, and
I like it,
the way
though.
she changes like film, like puts
film
like different
instead of
intonations
film.
and stuff. So we just had Newcastle, and that's northeast of England. So we're going to go northwest of England to Cumbria. I give it away because the man who's talking says it pretty early on, but let's see how easily Annie can understand this one.
Cumbrian dialect is a sort of mixture of Old Norse, Old English, various Celtic languages like Cymric and Pictish, things like that. And you can draw a lot of parallels between it and modern Nordic languages like Norwegian. So we say gan hjem, where in English you would say go home. In Bookman Norwegian you'd say go hjem. So today I was going to read a couple of entries from a diary from 4 or 5 years ago, which hark back to an older time in my life when I was a little bairn. So here we are. When we were bairns, weren't matters, we used to gan at Tollswater and to snarl a little bit and yam chin, but twat any frosted hours it doesn't to cash. However, we were get cowed with whiskey and so we wore kibbles. Nega was met grand fettle and shock, Jan was Danny fell out twatter and read himself. I'll eat that now, Meckward. Now Meckward stricken down.
I understood.
Lured you in. I think I lured you in, and then bam.
Until he started reading. As soon as he started reading 5, that's what I'm talking about with the males and sort of that lower pitch and
Mumbly,
if they're mumbling. No, unintelligible.
Yeah. So the star of that video, I think that was a normal-ish like Northern England accent, like kind of like where we got Finnegan from.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Very nice sort of Northern England accent. And then when he started reading, he went full Cumbrian, I guess. And even I was like, what are you talking about? Like, all right instead of all right. And they'll share that sort of language with Newcastle, like all right. But yeah, even for me, that was like a 4 or 5. That's hard.
That was a hard one.
This next one is a black country accent, which is like a West Midlands area of England. So let's hear that one.
So how about washing your donnies and your fizzocks? Your papers could do with rinse. I'll be off down the Osroward. Now, ta-ta a bit.
Okay, so what was she talking about?
I think the words I understood were now and to. Donnie's, no idea, something
Pipers,
else.
physics.
She said washing.
Yeah.
I would say if someone just came up and said that to me, 5. I don't know what she's talking about.
I agree.
So you didn't understand either?
Some of those like actual like country dialects where they almost like the Shetlandic like use different words. I'm like,
so you didn't know those words
I can take
either.
a guess based on context, but she I think was just reading like a poem or something. So no context, I'd be like, all right, have a nice day.
Same.
Smile and nod. This next one is from Liverpool, so the Scouse accent, and we are using Paddy the Baddy, who is a famous MMA fighter, and he has a pretty good accent. So we'll see what Annie thinks of this.
It's just it was always meant to be, wasn't it? Everyone knew that I was going to end up eventually being here, so it wasn't a question of if I was going to be in the UFC, it was when. And the time's finally arrived, lad. I'm here, and I'm here to make a statement, lad, and to let everyone know the boy is.
Well, what do you think about Jake Paul, YouTuber turned fighter?
He's a sausage. I'd fight him tomorrow and I'd beat him up.
Who's that? Oh, hand sanitizer boy? Is that who you mean? Oh yeah, that's his name from now on, lad. Don't refer to him as his name, lad. His name's hand sanitizer because it got bounced off his head. But I don't concern myself with none of that, lad. He wanted to come at me and try and act hard, and he got put in his place, lad. I was stood there on my own, and there was about 6 of them, and he done nothing. If he wanted to do something, he would have come round the table and tried to have a fight with me, but he didn't. He stood on the other side of the table.
How's that one for you?
Okay, I would say 2, maybe rolling into a 3 at some points. Like when he says something like knocked out.
Knocked out?
Oh, is that what he said? Knocked out?
Maybe.
Yeah, so there are a few ones that trip me up. And instead of saying no, what did he say? Nah?
Yeah.
Or something like that. But with context, you can pretty much figure it out. I do have to listen quite closely, though.
Yeah,
it's not a natural one.
On some of those, he was speaking quite clearly into a microphone, but even just adding words like at the end of a sentence, lad, like doesn't really add anything to the sentence. You don't need it, but it's just like how they talk, and a lot of them will really pronounce like when they're saying like, it's like like they'll really enunciate that sort of thing. So again, I think fast in real life, I think it can get tricky.
He didn't take much of a breath between words either.
Yeah.
They sort of just kept coming out of his mouth.
I would say typically they, again, talk fast. Liverpool is obviously where the Beatles came from, so a lot of them had that accent to a certain varying levels. But yeah, I actually quite like that one as well. It's a bit more brash, but another good one.
I've never met an accent I didn't like, so just add it to the list.
We are now visiting Manchester, and we're going to use one of a duo of 2 famous people from Manchester, Liam Gallagher from the band Oasis. So he's doing a radio interview, and we'll see how Annie hears this one.
Okay. I love Oasis.
It's when they do an interview and that later on down the line, they've been to America once and they come back and they start speaking American, you know what I mean? They're the ones. The geezer out the Arctic Monkeys, he did it, didn't he? You know what I mean? He started getting his hair in a quiff and that, and big biker leather jackets on, you know what I mean? It's like when he goes back to his mum's, does he really walk in the door with that biker leather jacket on and go, hey, mum, can I have some tea? You know what I mean? She's going to give him a clip, isn't she? You know what I mean? And he lost his Yorkshire accent and that, which is sad and that. But yeah, there's a lot of them out there, man.
Okay, how about this one?
Hi to people.
Biker of a jacket? What kind of...
He was talking about another singer who went to America, picked up an American accent. Who would that happen to? And was wearing like a leather biker jacket.
Then I did get it. Okay.
And then he actually does tries to do an American accent as well. How was this Manchester man's American accent?
Oh, I didn't know he was trying to do an American accent so horrible. For his accent, I would say he's a 2, 3, but he's the prime example of someone in a bar I would not be able to understand.
He's like, I'd say he's quite a good example of like you said, just a man on the street in Manchester, like a good example of a sort of common Manchester accent. Like not common, like well-spoken, I can't even use words
But with
today.
his raspy voice, that will totally throw me if there's any background noise.
Yeah. And he did actually mention another accent we're not going to have time for today, the Yorkshire accent, which is another great one.
Next time.
Yeah. I think we're leaving England now and carry on to one of our other neighbours. Okay, so hit me up in the comments with all the hate you want, but I feel as you go further south in England at least, the accent becomes more easy English to understand.
Intelligible.
Like all the way down to London and stuff, it's a sort of posher English accent almost. So we're gonna switch and we're gonna go over to Ireland.
Oh, okay.
And this next clip was actually famous on TV for a little bit just because it was funny and nice. There's two people talking, so listen to obviously the first person first, but it's the young boy that I'm going to listen to and see what he's talking about. Okay. So we're over in Ireland on a snowy day.
It was a wintry walk to school in Part Village, but they're a hardy breed in these parts.
Well, the mother says we had to go anyway. We hadn't much a choice in the matter, but sure.
It's a cold journey to school this morning.
Oh, God, you wouldn't be long getting frost, but...
It's nice to look at, but tough to live in, and there's no respite yet. Tonight, weather warnings remain in place right across the northwest. Garth Wilkinson.
So the first guy, the news reporter, how was he?
One, easy to understand.
Okay, yeah.
The second guy, I could understand him, but I didn't catch every word. Did he say something about demolishers? What did he say? I didn't catch that.
So basically it's snowing and it's bad weather, but he basically has no choice. You still have to go out in it. And then the news reporter's like, oh yeah, it's like cold, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah, you won't be long getting frostbite, like if you're out
I understood all that, but there was something that sounded like demolisher, like you said. I don't
Definitely
know.
wasn't talking about demolishers. I can't think of what you might be thinking of, but so the kid, I guess he can't be a 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5.
I would say 3.
3.
Right in the middle.
All right. I have to admit, I don't know exactly where in Ireland that last clip was from, but we are now going to Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
Hello, Donegal County Council, who's speaking? Ahmed Hussein. Who? The plan permission for the mosque was rejected, aye. It was rejected because you didn't fill out the forms properly. The forms were not no, they were not. I will be not spoken to like that in my country. The plan permission was rejected. You didn't fill out the form. You didn't answer the question is it a Catholic mosque or a Protestant mosque?
You didn't call it out correctly.
It's a little bit of humor there as well, along with the accent, but how was that one for you to understand?
I would say 1 to 2.
Okay.
Like, pretty easy.
Talking about getting planning permission for somebody who wanted to build a mosque, and then he asked if it's a Catholic or Protestant mosque. I was like, wait a minute, where's this clip going? But no, that was funny.
There was only one word towards the beginning that I didn't fully remember or grasp.
Okay, again, I think he says the name of the county.
Oh, that's probably it then.
Something county council.
Yes, okay.
So yeah, the names are tricky when it's in the accent and you're not familiar with the area. So, okay, so Ireland covered. All that's left is a Welsh accent.
Let's do
Do
it.
you think you've heard a Welsh accent in the wild yet?
I don't think I have,
Okay.
honestly.
Another accent I absolutely love, actually. I really like the Welsh accent. So, and we're using the Welsh actor Michael Sheen, who in this clip talks normally, and then he kind of puts on a bit thicker. So I'm
Okay.
interested to see how you fare with those. So here we go.
Bedded in my Welshness, and I made one up recently, which I thought which made me laugh, which was in Aberystwyth there is a locksmith. His name is Dysmith.
What do you think?
I feel like that was easy to understand.
Yeah.
I say that, but then I actually don't know the words that he was saying at the very end.
So again, the first word, Aberystwyth, is a place.
Mhm.
So that's maybe not a word you're familiar with. There is a locksmith.
Got that.
And then my memory's terrible, so I forgot what the last word he even said was.
It's sad. It was like 10 seconds ago, and neither of us can remember.
Our children are not sleeping well at the moment, so neither are we. So
I would say two.
two,
Pretty
yeah,
easy.
pretty easy.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Welsh accent, again, I think you'll find a male with background noise and all that might be tricky.
They enunciate pretty clearly, though,
Yeah.
compared to like the north. Was it Cumbria? Or
Cumbria, yeah.
Yeah, that was not really enunciating.
That's almost more
just
how like a normal
person-specific.
person would speak, like possibly speak in real life. So yeah, a lot of these are amplified, which makes it a little bit easier. But I think you're doing pretty well. I mean, I think a few years ago, some of these would have been a lot more challenging.
Oh,
for
I
you.
think they would have totally been 5s when I first came over.
Hear Finnegan in the background trying to show us his accent as well. His Northern English accent.
I've been working on it, but I still just do not understand what he's saying to me. So
Finnegan?
maybe one day.
Annie with the jokes.
I didn't think you'd laugh at that.
Okay, so a little bit of a fun one there. As usual, we look forward to your comments. If there's any accents Annie needs to check out, that would be great. As usual, like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
Thanks again, MyHeritage, for sponsoring this video. Now, don't forget to scan this QR code for your 14-day free trial or check out the link in the description box.